So hi everybody, welcome to this special webinar. My name is Noel O'Neill. I'm a director of the Ayurveda Centre, and I'm here with the three doctors that work in our centre, Dr. Donn Brennan, Dr. Rajvinder Kaur and Dr. Naheed Farooque, and I'll be introducing them to you a bit later. The reason we're having this webinar is because the Ministry of Ayush, which is part of the Indian government, has recently released some guidelines in relation to immunity boosting measures for self-care during the Covid-19 crisis. And these are all associated with the ancient healthcare system of Ayurveda. Some of you may be familiar with Ayurveda, but it's the oldest tradition of healthcare in the world. Ayu means lifespan and Veda means knowledge, so it means knowledge of lifespan. And the Indian government has been promoting these measures to help people boost their immunity and deal with infection from Covid-19. So they've released a very specific set of points. They've disseminated them widely all around the world. And we're going to be talking about them today with our doctors, and the doctors will be telling us why they feel they're on that list and what's the importance of them. We actually got a very nice message from the Indian ambassador. He was aware we were doing this webinar and he sent us a message. So actually I'd like to read that message first before we begin. So the ambassador's name is Sandeep Kumar, and basically his message said, the embassy is fully supportive of the webinar initiative of this evening taken by Dr. Donn Brennan and his team to promote and advise on the Government of India Ayush guidelines to promote immunity boosting measures. These have particularly been formulated as simple self-care measures in the challenging time of Covid-19 so that individuals can take care of their health whilst at home using traditional Ayurveda remedies. These guidelines have been widely disseminated globally since their release, and the feedback has been very positive. I am very encouraged that in Ireland these are being published in a major forum such as this today. COVID is an exceptional health crisis which requires all complementary systems of medicines to come into play. And after this phase of crisis is over, it is my plan to work with major universities like Trinity College Dublin, University College Dublin, Dublin City University and University College Cork to explore possibilities of establishment of Ayush, stroke yoga, stroke Ayurveda chairs as long-term institutional mechanisms for our holistic well-being. We shall also work with the Department of Health for appropriate recognition of these traditional systems of medicine. At that stage, I would seek your cooperation to conceptualize these projects. In the meantime, if you have any other scheme of your own for promotion of Ayush systems, Embassy will be very happy to partner with you. I wish the Ayush webinar all success and look forward to reviewing your deliberations. Keep safe and healthy. So that's from the ambassador. It's incredibly encouraging. I was really, really happy to see this. We've been working in the field of Ayurveda now for decades, and it's nice to see they're taking a very, very keen interest in promoting their own traditional healthcare system. And we definitely look forward to approaching the universities and the Department of Health to get this more established and accepted in Ireland. So anyway, I want to go back now to the list of recommendations that have been released by the Department of Ayush to help with this particular pandemic. So the first general measure that they've recommended is drink warm water throughout the day. So I'm going to ask Dr. Brennan what his opinion on this. Dr. Brennan, I'm sure many of you already know, he's a medical doctor. He worked in various hospitals in the Republic and in Northern Ireland, but he's been practicing Ayurvedic medicine for decades now, and he's regularly appears in the media, in the print media and the TV and radio media. And so Dr. Brennan, you're welcome along today. So we're being advised to drink warm water throughout the day. I wonder, could you give us your opinion on this particular recommendation?
Yes, Noel. It's wonderful to think of this incredibly ancient tradition of health, which is now increasingly evidence-based. A tradition which is not merely about treatment of disease, but how do you go about creating health, and how, if you're ill, can you restore your health? So a wonderful different perspective that comes to bear, particularly at a time when we're getting great advice about avoiding a virus, but no advice really about how to strengthen ourselves in case we did. And this is why this initiative of the Indian government is so fascinating. Now, when decades ago, Maharishi Ayurveda was starting to be revived around the world, great Ayurvedic doctors from India toured the West and were appalled, basically, when they met us at the degree of toxins we had gathered in our tissues, and wondered what was the one thing that they could do which would help us. And so they remembered that one of the ancient texts has this advice: sip hot water often. So boiling the hot water in the morning, putting it in a flask and drinking it through the day, sipping it every hour, every half hour, every hour through the day. Have your other drinks as well. But in doing so, you're enlivening the whole digestive system, you're enlivening the liver functions, which tend to then clear the toxins from your body. And that is important for immunity.
Okay, Dr. Brennan, that's very good. The second general point they've recommended is the daily practice of yoga, pranayama, and meditation, some of which I'm sure people are familiar with, for at least 30 minutes a day. So again, Dr. Brennan, I'd like to ask you for your opinion on this.
In the document, they mention the seasonal routines and the daily routines, what to do at what time. And particularly in this tradition, meditation is incredibly important because the intelligence which structures your body and enhances your immunity is innate within you. And when you do transcendental meditation, your mind quietens to stillness and awakens that incredible intelligence at the basis of the mind, which then is the intelligence that actually orchestrates and organizes the whole physiology. And the evidence is there that those who are doing the TM have higher immunity, they have higher white cell counts, and they end up in hospitals significantly less for respiratory problems. Also in the field of yoga, there's a lot of evidence to show that it's very useful for anxiety, which we're all exposed to in this pandemic. And so that would be very strengthening as well. Pranayama is a breathing exercise, a very simple breathing exercises, which are considered very helpful for the respiratory system, as well as for general relaxation or invigoration of our system. So those three are very simple, but anybody can learn to do them and benefit in terms of their immunity and their strength.
Okay, and I think it's, you know, a lot of people nowadays are very familiar with yoga, and you can go onto YouTube and you'll see different classes that you can do there. The pranayama, the breathing exercise, actually we'll put something on our own YouTube channel with a demonstration of that, but it's very simple. It's very strengthening for the lungs. And obviously this particular condition affects the lungs. And meditation, I think the benefits of meditation are just becoming more and more accepted. So the third general benefit is the use of spices. And I'm just looking at the ones they've recommended here. They've recommended turmeric, cumin, coriander, and garlic, which nowadays are all available commonly available in the supermarket. So I'd like to ask Dr. Rajvinder maybe to comment on this. Dr. Rajvinder is an Ayurvedic doctor in India. The Ayurveda course is a 6-year degree course. It's a Bachelor of Medicine, and you become an Ayurvedic doctor at the end of that. Dr. Rajvinder has lived in Ireland since 2007, and she's worked very, very closely with the Ayurveda Centre since then. So Dr. Rajvinder, maybe you'd like to comment on why these particular spices are being recommended?
I think, you know, spices are part of Ayurveda tradition. In Ayurveda, digestion is a big part of your health. So to help your digestion to be working in order, these spices are advised because these spices has wonderful immuno-boosting properties and certain healing compounds in them that help not only for the immune system, but in general for the digestion and for the detox purpose. So that's why cumin, coriander, turmeric, and garlic, these 4 basic spices easily found in our kitchen, are recommended by the Ayush department to use. So they just to kind of help with the regular digestion, regular elimination, and keep the immune system healthy.
Okay, and again, we have some videos on our YouTube channel where we cook some soups, we cook some meals, and we use these spices, maybe some other ones as well, but they're all there. So you can follow those recipes online if you choose to do so. So the next section after the general measures is Ayurvedic immunity promoting measures. And the first recommendation here is to take what's called Chyavanprash, which is not going to be too familiar to people in the West, really. So they recommend taking Chyavanprash in the morning, and they say diabetics should take sugar-free Chyavanprash. So Dr. Brennan, I'll go back to you. You're familiar with this product, so can you tell us a little bit about it?
Indeed, Noel. Chyavanprash is a legendary preparation in India, and it contains, you know, over 20 herbal preparations, but the one ingredient which is most concentrated is amla. The amla fruit is 20 times richer than oranges for vitamin C, and it's very interesting in that it's a heat-resistant form of vitamin C. And what makes this so interesting is that in China, during their pandemic there, they were using vitamin C in high doses for severely ill patients and concluding it was helpful. And there's some scientific research coming out about that. But the whole Chyawanprash is a fantastic tonic generally for our health and energy, but it's more specific in terms of lung disease, the respiratory system, also heart disease, and also the whole reproductive system. But it's a very great tonic and one that one could take to enhance their immunity to protect themselves from an infection.
Okay, and actually I see with interest that it's becoming more available. I have seen it now in health food shops. Up to recent years I hadn't really seen it, but I am beginning to see it more and more in health food shops. It will be available online, but you could check your local health food store. There are quite a lot of different companies that manufacture Chyawanprash. So get a good organic one if you can, if you're going to use it. And the second immunity boosting measure is a special drink that you can make. If my pronunciation is right, it's called Kada. And it includes basil and cinnamon and black pepper. But I'll go back to Dr. Rajvinder and just ask her about this particular drink, because you're familiar with this drink, Dr. Rajvinder.
Yes, I am familiar with this drink. Most of the herbs used, which I'm going to talk, are very good for, again, immune system. And most of these herbs are wonderful antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory functions. So Ayush department has recommended 5 herbs. So these are herbs are cinnamon, black pepper, dry ginger powder, fresh basil, and the raisins. So you take roughly a teaspoon of each of these herbs and you boil into 1 liter of water. So the word kada is known as decoction. So when you're boiling these herbs into a certain amount of water, you reduce the amount of water into half. That's what helps to bring these properties of these herbs into the water. So 1 teaspoon of each of these 5 herbs, you boil into 1 liter of water for a few minutes. When it's reduced to half, you strain the seeds and you keep this decoction into a flask and you sip it throughout the day. So roughly 3-4 cups a day, you're going to drink this drink. So what are the kind of why these herbs are recommended? As I already said, raisin is a wonderful antioxidant, and because of its high phenolic acid compound in it, and black pepper and cinnamon and ginger also have antiviral properties. So they're wonderful expectorants, help to clear respiratory passage from the mucus and give the enough moisture to the respiratory passage as well. So it's great to fight with all the lungs issue. And they have also recommended to add jaggery, which is raw cane sugar, because jaggery will be like a damp and it helps with the dry cough and all of that. But if you have any diabetic issue or you don't want to have sugar in your drink, you can completely avoid it. So when you pour this drink into the cup, you can add a little bit of honey, good quality Manuka honey or eucalyptus honey, and squeeze a few drops of fresh lemon. So there you go. It's very tasty, a wonderful drink you can add into your daily routine. So you drink it daily as a 1 or 2 cups of this drink to help with your immune system and to strengthen your system and to fight any of these infections.
Okay, great. I think you made a little video of it actually, and we have that up on our YouTube channel as well, which I'll share with everybody at the end, where you can see these. And these ingredients are kind of commonly available. Don't feel you can't get them in most Asian stores, but in a lot of supermarkets you'll get them nowadays as well. And actually, while you're on, Dr. Rajvinder, golden milk is another product I think you're familiar with, and that's also been recommended. So maybe you'll say a few words about golden milk.
Yes, golden milk is also well known these days. So golden milk is basically you boil the milk. So roughly 150 ml of the milk, you boiling with a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. So Ayush department recommend drinking this for once or twice a day. So people who can tolerate normal dairy milk, they're okay to use plant-based milk. So oats milk, almond milks. You just have to boil the milk with a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and then you pour that into the mug, and then you can have your sweetener or just drink as it is. So because turmeric is known for wonderful antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory properties, and again it's immunoboosting herb, so that's why turmeric is recommended to use in the drink.
Okay, great. So now we move on to what we call simple Ayurvedic procedures, and there's a couple of different procedures being recommended here, and I'm now going to introduce you to Dr. Naheed Farooque. And Dr. Naheed also works with the Ayurveda Centre, and she's based down in Cork. And interestingly enough, these recommendations were put together by a group of eminent Vaidya's, which are Ayurvedic doctors in India. And one of the particular doctors, Dr. Naheed, actually worked with when she was in India. I'll probably allow you to say his name, Naheed, but it's Abhichal Chattopadhyay. But anyway, you'll probably get that better than me. So Dr. Naheed, nasal application, these are interesting ones. Apply sesame oil, coconut oil, or ghee in both the nostrils in the morning or evening. So maybe you can give us a few words about that.
Yeah, thank you, Noel. And you correctly pronounced the name of the doctor whom I have worked with. So Ayurveda, being science of life, has given us elaborated knowledge about so many preventive cares. One of them is nasal application. So application of sesame oil or coconut oil or ghee with the help of your finger twice or once a day will help you to release all the blockage from your respiratory tract, from your nose, and it will stimulate all the vital centers of the brain, which will help you to overcome diseases and stress.
Okay, and then the second one is what's called oil pulling, which I'm familiar with, but a lot of people might not be familiar with. So maybe let's just say a word or two about oil pulling.
Yeah, so oil pulling is a very simple process. It's basically like a mouthwash. So instead of mouthwash, we can use 1 tablespoon of sesame oil or coconut oil, and you have to just swish it in your mouth for 2 to 3 minutes and then spit it off, followed by a warm water rinse. So warm water rinse will help you to remove the remaining oil from your mouth. So oil pulling is has its importance. Oil pulling not only helps us to maintain proper oral hygiene, but it also helps us to stop the multiplication of microbes inside your mouth, and and ultimately it's leading to stop the diseases. And it also detoxify our body from absorbing toxins from our tongue. So it's a very good process and very simple process. You can do once or twice in a day, as you're comfortable with.
Okay, yeah, actually it's a great technique. I've been using it myself for a long time, both the nasal application and the oil pulling. We know that this virus gets into the body through the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. And what we can see from these procedures is that you're keeping this area very healthy. You're making it not a good area for infection to take hold. And that's what we want to do. We want to try it, not allow any infection to take hold. Now, if we develop a dry cough or a sore throat, this is more moving on a little bit. An Ayurvedic procedure that's been recommended here is steam inhalation with fresh mint leaves or ajwan seeds. And I'll talk a little bit about ajwan seeds in a minute. But Dr. Naheed, if you just want to tell us a bit more about this steam inhalation and how we should do it.
So steam inhalation is also a very simple process. As the name suggests, you have to inhale steam. For that, all you need to do is just boil few cups of water by adding ajwain, which is also called as caraway seed. And ajwain seed is recommended because it is very good to resolve all those disorders which are associated with cough, cold, and inside your nose and inside your tongue, throat. And mint leaves will help you to release all those congestion, and it gives you a really soothing kind of effect. So just boil 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds or few mint leaves, and you can pour that water in a big bowl. Just wrap yourself around with a towel and inhale steam through your nose, and always exhale steam from your mouth. So there are some precautions which you have to take while you're inhaling steam. Is let your door and windows be covered. Do not get exposed to cold air, which may lead you to catch cough and cold further. And the benefits are amazing. It will help you to loosen the mucus which might have built up in your throat and in your respiratory tract. And it will also help to decongest, to release congestion from your nose and your throat. And the moist and warm steam will help you to relieve from the sore throat.
Okay, yeah, no, I know a nurse, an Indian nurse working in the hospitals in Dublin, and every day she comes home, she does this with the ajwan seeds. Now, ajwan seeds people might not be over familiar with, but you will get them in an Asian store. And you may get them in other stores. You can buy them online. And that's what she does. She boils up the water. She puts the ajwan seeds. She covers her head and she steams. And again, you're just cleaning up the whole passage area. You're making it not very suitable for pathogens to take hold. And it's a great thing. And it's a pity more people don't know about all these measures. And that's why we're doing this video, to make people aware that there are things that we can do to boost immunity and to deal with these things. And then the last thing that's been recommended is a a clove powder mixed with natural sugar and honey to be taken 2 to 3 times a day in case of cough or throat irritation. So Dr. Naheed, I'll go back to you again on that one.
Thank you. Clove is a very good herb. Clove is very good to release and to give us comfort from the cough. And clove is a very good appetizing and digestive herb. So it will also help you to increase our immunity. And honey has a very unique healing property. And honey also reduces the causative factor of cough production inside your body. So a mixture of clove and honey twice a day will help you to cut down your cough, and it will release your sore throat as well. Really.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so that covers all the measures that have been recommended by the Indian government. As you saw on this slide I put up at the very beginning, Prime Minister Modi is very much to the forefront of trying to get this knowledge out there. There are many eminent Vaidya's, Ayurvedic doctors in India trying to promote this knowledge as well. And I do note with interest that in the state of Kerala, now Kerala, maybe a lot of people are familiar with it because it's a big tourist mecca, but it's also a very prominent place for Ayurveda. There are over 20,000 Ayurvedic physicians working in the state of Kerala, and people go there from all over the world for Ayurvedic treatments and yoga holidays and things like that. It was the first state in India to have a case of COVID-19. And they were very, very quick to respond. And they did all the things that we do in the West. And we're not suggesting for a minute that those things aren't important. Washing your hands and social distancing are essential. These are also in the ancient Vedic texts about staying at home in times of pandemic. It's written in there thousands of years ago. So we absolutely follow these rules of social distancing and washing hands. And Kerala imposed quarantine. They locked people down. But they also very quickly started promoting Ayurvedic methods to deal with infection as well. And there was hundreds of thousands of what they call Covid-19 immunity boosting packs sent out to workers all around Kerala, particularly the frontline workers, the people who are putting themselves in danger, the people who are at higher risk, and the police and firefighters and all these people and elderly people. And these particular packs with Ayurvedic herbals in them, and a lot of the recommendations that were in here were told to people and given to people. And I just yesterday, now this is changing every day, but just yesterday I noted that in the state of Kerala, there's 37 million people live in Kerala, and some of them quite tightly packed in the main cities. There's been 4 deaths from COVID-19. And as of yesterday, there was not a single case of a person in hospital, not anybody in hospital suffering from COVID-19. Now, I know correlation does not imply causation, and there are many, many things that give rise to these things, but still it's very interesting to note that success that they've had there in combating this through the various different measures. And I've no doubt that Ayurveda played a huge role in that. Now, what I want to do now is we've gone through everything. I am going to share a screen where you can see our YouTube address so that you can download the videos that you talked about, and there'll be some contact details for us as well. But in the absence of any comments from any of our doctors, I think we're ready to conclude. So unless anybody else has anything to say.
If there's any question around, if there's any question around these, any of the herbs you don't know, you don't understand, Noel is going to put contact for all of us. So feel free to contact if you want to clarify any point on this, these measures. Thank you.
Yeah, we all 4 of us live in Ireland, not Dublin. Sorry, we all live in Ireland. I'm down in Drogheda at the moment, and Dr. Brennan is in Dublin, and Dr. Rajvinder is in Dublin, and Dr. Naheed is in Cork. And as I say, we've been involved in promoting Ayurveda in Ireland for well over 20 years at this stage. So people can feel free to email us. Ayurveda.ie is our web address, but I'm going to put that up on the screen now. So I'm going to say Namaste. Namaste is a traditional Indian blessing. I think we might be using it a lot more, seeing as we won't be shaking hands maybe for a while to come. Namaste means I bow to the divine in you, which is very nice. It's like Dia Git, really, God be with you would be the Irish version of it. But anyway, so namaste to everybody. And as I say, I'll share the links, and please feel free to get in touch with us. And thanks for listening.